The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Here's the truth, Trevor, okay? Are you listening, Trevor? If the NHL referees don't get their ish together, I'm not going to allow your children to watch hockey, okay? For real. You want them to watch conspiracy theories all day? You want them to watch lies? For real. If the NHL refs don't get their ish together, the kids are going to suffer. Am I wrong on this?
No, you're 100% right. Look, I've already taught my daughter when I said, look, it's the referee. She goes, boo. She knows.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer for Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into today's episode, we got to thank you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks. It is your Canucks every damn day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. If you haven't done so already, make sure you go subscribe or follow us wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. And hey, guess what? If you want to win 2 tickets to the Canucks and the Kings, you got about 5 more days to enter 4 more days, maybe even to enter the contest.
Yeah, four more days. 4 more days. 5 days. We'll figure it out. It's on Friday.
Okay. Tickets we're announcing the winner this Friday. So you gotta in the next 4 days, you gotta do 2 things. You gotta subscribe to the channel on YouTube or leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts, and you gotta subscribe to Kyle's Discord link in the bio. Good conversations with Canuck fans going on there. Again, that's to win 2 tickets to Canucks and Kings on Monday, March the 25th. Now, this homestand, the Canucks homestand will be going on still next Monday against the Kings, but the homestand over the past few games has taken a bit of a hit here. So we want to talk about 3 reasons why, 3 truths about your Canucks recently in terms of their losing streak. I guess you can go losing streak is 2 losses now, and talk to you about what matters with this team. And then, we'll turn it positive as well, like why it's still all good. We'll go over the latest line shuffling at practice and tell you all about that. And we'll, of course, touch on the GOATs of the week. Before we do any of that, let me introduce my co-host, Kyle Bowen. How you doing, brother?
AKA DJ Hindu Fresh 5000, okay? That's my DJ name, okay, in the city. Whenever I do shows and you see that name on a poster, come through. It's going to be a good time, okay? I played at Fortune Sound Club. I got off to a rough start. Okay, I don't blame myself. I blame the facts that I just witnessed the Canucks via the scoreboard app losing to the Washington Capitals. Okay, so it's hard for me to be myself when the Canucks lose. It really is. It took me a while to get warmed up. By the end of my set, bro, the ladies loved it. The ladies loved it. They liked the hot girl music I was playing. I got that comment a couple times. Anyways, more on that on another show. Okay. Anyways, Kyle Bowen, Trevor Beggs. Doing our thing, talking about the Canucks and talking about the truth, man. And here's the truth, man. I'm a little concerned. I'm a little confused. And I'm wanting a whole lot more. Now, before we quote-unquote blame the team, let's talk about the biggest truth, okay? And it may be redundant. It may sound as if I'm making excuse after excuse after excuse. But the fact of the matter is the Vancouver Canucks, once again, are finding themselves in a situation where they're playing games against 2 teams. The NHL referees suck. How do you call that icing against PDG? How do you not look at that after, even internally in your mind, amongst your peers, amongst your other referees, and say, you know what, I got that wrong. Let's move that face off at center ice, okay? Let's start over, which happens, 99% of the time. But boom, what happened? That didn't happen. And why? Because that call went against your Vancouver Canucks, okay? Conspiracy theories or not, all I got to say is, again, the NHL refs are up against the Vancouver Canucks. Beggs, you wrote an article post-game regarding everything that happened in that game, but you use that as your actual headline. What's going on, Trevor? I'm pissed.
It's funny because, if you listen to Talkit or players for the most part, although Myers criticized the officials about a month ago, and hey, maybe this is why this is all happening to your Vancouver Canucks. If you want to go down conspiracy theory boulevard, okay? Gary Bettman, he wants the Canucks to lose.
Okay, but why, though? I don't get it. I don't get it because it's so
'Cause
obvious. It's so obvious right now. What is going on? Are they trying to give McDavid, I don't know, like first place in the Pacific so he would have a better chance? I don't know, getting to the Cup final. I don't know what's going on here because it is pretty obvious. And I know the referees or the linesmen apologized to Tocchet after the second period, right? But it's too late. What happened with that icing call, that bad icing call, that obvious non-icing call? Bro, Tom Wilson scored right after it. It's gross, man. And yeah, the Canucks, you want to be accountable? They could have got the puck out, blah, blah, blah. All that jazz. They got to be composed, blah, blah, blah. But, it's pretty hard to play two teams every game. You know what I'm saying? And this happens right after we saw that Nathan McKinnon call with the hooking and the Ian Cole in the third period against Colorado. It's after Josh Manson not getting 5 minutes for that hit on JT Miller. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think each event is kind of unique in its own way. I don't think it's like some conspiracy theory out there, but the officials are making mistakes, right? And they are human, and it's easy to go down conspiracy theory boulevard. But at the end of the day, it's just, officials make mistakes. That's part of the game. Find me one team where their fan base doesn't complain about the officials, right? Like these things just do happen in the game of hockey. And yeah, it's going against the Canucks right now, and some of them are egregious. And you talk about the event on Saturday night. I mean, obviously the Caps go and score the next shift to make it a 1-1 game, but then they have momentum and they score to make it 2-1, and then that's your hockey game right there, right? So it was a call that changed the game. And I do think when you hear Tocchet post game say like, "Oh, the linesman apologized to me," look, Tocchet's not going to go out and call the officials, but I do think that Tocchet saying or letting the media know that the linesman apologized to him was his way of calling it the official. Like, I'm not going to call him out, but look, this guy called himself out. I mean, okay, like what's going on?
Rick Tocchet should have smacked him in the head with a steel chair, dude. Straight up. If my child ever wants to become an NHL,
oh my God.
If my child ever wants to become an NHL referee, I'm kicking him out of the house. It's the truth, man. Anyways, okay. Ironically, we talk about the refs, blah blah blah, complaining, we're crying here in Vancouver, West Coast, Best Coast, blah blah blah. Dude, if the refs want to do us favors and I don't know, hand us some power plays, we're not going to do anything. Okay, we really aren't. And I know the Canucks only got a few power plays in that last game, or maybe they only got one against the Capitals. Not too many to practice or execute on, but there they are again, failing to do anything when they need a goal. And the Canucks, and this is the truth, the Canucks aren't winning the cup. They're not winning a round in the playoffs if their power play continues to be one of the worst power plays in hockey. That's the truth. Something's up. Something's wrong. And again, it's confusing.
Yeah, I think if you look from, I think it's February 1st now, so about a month and a half, the Canucks at 15.7%. I believe that's 27th overall in the NHL. And yeah, it's frustrating to watch, honestly. And it just feels like they've lost their mojo a bit, like you said. They've been trying the movement thing, but we're almost at the point where they need to just go back to what works. Miller on the half wall, kind of Pettersson, Miller, and Hughes up high, and then have Besser and whoever else down low. One update from practice day is that Lindholm was back on the power play. We'll talk about a little bit more about him in a couple of minutes. But it just looks stagnant right now. I don't know if teams have figured the Canucks out. I know one of the stats that really caught my attention is that Pettersson is shooting the puck way, way less than he was earlier in the season on the power play.
Let's move him in front of the net. Let's move Pettersson in front of the net and give this guy the puck less. What?
Yeah.
Bro, a big reason why Pettersson's not going is because the power play is not going. Like, these players need to pick up points, and that power play is like a fire extinguisher against any momentum that we're trying to establish. It's a killer. And, bro, there's been multiple occasions during this weird stretch of games. I know we won 4 straight games, and now we've lost 2 and blah, blah, blah. But before that, we've been struggling. Just look at the Canucks record over the last, 13 games, and it just looks gross. It looks average. And there's things that this team is supposed to be doing that's still not happening. And again, I think a lot of the swagger that this team needs to find, a lot of the consistency they need to find on offense, it needs to get sparked by, again, a fluid power play. Your top guys picking up points. Elias Pettersson, 7 points in his last 13 games? Elias Lindholm, 2 points in his last 13 games? Bro, it's hard to blame everything on the power play. They got to do things on their own, 5-on-5, all that jazz. But again, the Canucks are not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere if their power play is not firing at a top 5 rate. And I say that, I know that's kind of crazy to say because even top 10 would be nice. Top 12 would be nice. Every now and then you want to score goals. Look, if we're dreaming about going to June, playing in June, making the most out of the season, you want your best players to play at the top of their pedigree. And if that's the case, then that means the power play with JT Miller, Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson, Lindholm, Besser, etc. are doing their thing. They're snapping the puck around and they're making teams pay.
Yeah, that's it's just so frustrating on a number of levels right now. And you got me thinking a lot about Lindholm and his game. I mean, it's unreal how bad this guy has been of late, right? And yeah, we talked about high floor and this and that, but 2 points in his last 13 games. Is that actually true?
2 assists.
2 points? Holy, that's unbelievable stuff, man. 2 assists. Yeah, that's unbelievable. Since scoring 2 goals against the Detroit Red Wings on February 15th, he has 2 assists in his last 13 games. Look, I've said it time and time again on the show, every day is no, this guy cannot be your third line center. Dude. But even this is like just beyond subpar, even if you are a third line center in the NHL. And look, the Calgary Flames over at Flames Nation just posted an article today saying, are the Calgary Flames performing better without Elias Lindholm on their roster? And guess what? They are pretty much everywhere. Offensively, their win-loss record, their special teams play. The only area where the Calgary Flames play has dipped since Lindholm left is defensively, but they also traded away Chris Tanev and Noah Hannafin too. So, I got Calgary in the short term looking like the clear winner of this trade. But all that matters is playoffs, right? And again, this is why you acquired the guy early to get going by the time the playoffs come around. And time's a ticking here. Time's a ticking. And I think, you don't want to just gift Lindholm opportunities you want him to earn it. But that being said, the power play is not working. You got to try getting him back on there. I still think for sure this guy needs to be playing with Pettersson again. Hopefully that can get both of them going because, when you talk about problems with the Canucks right now, like the 2 Eliases are right up there.
Oh, of course, man. Of course. Again, the Canucks have points in 5 of the last 6 games. The world is not crashing, but there's 14 games left and there's no more real excuses outside of just the referees being BS for real. Like you can't use the whole tired card. You can't use any of that stuff. Actually, you know what? Let me go here, Trevor. Okay. You're a family man. Okay. Can we get philosophical here? A lot of time, right? Spent on the road for a lot of these men with families at home. And now they're home for a while and they've had a lot of quote unquote rest, quote unquote days off. And look what's happened over the last 2 games. Like, do you think any, complacency, any of that jazz, too much rest is playing a toll on this team kind of failing, to be honest, in their last 4 periods? I mean, a pathetic loss against the Colorado Avalanche. You're up 3-0 with 21 minutes left. Boom, bam, you lose. You pick up a point. Bro, come on, no moral victories this season. And that performance against the Capitals was boring. It was boring, dude. So, do you think too much rest has something to do with this, which is crazy? It just sounds like I'm making up another excuse. I heard somebody on the radio call about the ice, since the temperature went up 8 degrees in a matter of 1 day, the ice wasn't ready for the Vancouver Canucks to be fluid on. Anyway, answer the question.
I'll touch on both those things there. The ice factor, just from talking to people in and around Rogers Arena.
Shut up, Trevor.
It's been an issue. Apparently the Aquilides don't want to spend money on actually upgrading to the proper cooling systems that are needed at Rogers Arena. So that is actually an issue. I'll give the commenter one thing on it. Excuses, blah, 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 whatever. In terms of the rest, I do think it's legit because if you think about it, Kyle, if you're out on the road and you're traveling, you're still with you're with your guys, you're with the team, you're still dialed into work though. You're still dialed into the task at hand. When you go back to your families and your home, there's a lot more distractions, right? So especially when there's time off in between games here, I do think it's easier to become a bit disconnected to the game. Which is good. Guys need time with their families. It's not all about hockey here. But at the end of the day, I certainly think this could be having an effect on what's going on with your Vancouver Canucks. But it's all good, man. And I think on the other side, we'll talk about why it is still all good because it's easy to get lost in the negativity of the past 2 games, especially with all this time in between games. But
Trevor, did you just call your family a distraction? Did you just call your family a distraction? Did you just say that? I hope your family's not listening to this, okay? For real.
God, they don't listen to this. No way. Not a chance. Maybe my mom, actually. Who knows? We'll see. Sorry, Mom. Love you. On the other side, we're going to tell you why it's still all good with your Vancouver Canucks game. Don't get sucked into this loop of negativity, Kyle. Don't do it, okay? I want to hear more about you killing at Fortune Sound Club on Saturday, and I'm going to tell you why I'm so positive about the Vancouver Canucks.
Okay.
All that and more on the other side. But first, let's shout out our friends over at Robinhood Retirement. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at Robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of the first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. 3% match on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is a registered broker-dealer.
Man, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight in Vancouver, all my real fans.
Okay, we back here talking about your Vancouver Canucks being a little negative. I'm sorry, not sorry. My name is also Kyle Ballin. That right there is Trevor Beggs. And once again, people, join the Discord. Link in the bio. Subscribe to the channel. Boom, bam. You do both of those things, you enter a contest to win 2 Canucks tickets to that game on March the 25th against the Los Angeles Kings. We'll announce the winner on Friday. Speaking of tickets, speaking of giveaways, I don't think Callum Sandu is gonna need those tickets, okay? I don't think he's in the Discord, but I just heard in the comments, and we got to congratulate the people, right? We ain't nothing without the people. Bro, this guy got to raise that work, man. Callum Sandu. You got to raise that work. Congratulations, man. Well-deserved. You a positive guy. A big reason why the Canucks, they're in the playoffs. They're doing their thing this season is because of your positivity and from the jump. You brought it. Speaking from, experience and speaking about the jump, the start of everything Locked On Canucks, Jay Canuck, okay? I'm pretty sure this guy's Harpoon, okay? He talks a lot, man. He's passionate. Probably one of the most passionate fans watching this program. And for weeks and weeks, he was talking about how Lindholm wrecked the chemistry of the Vancouver Canucks. And for weeks and weeks, bro, I was punching him in the face. Metaphorically, okay? Boom, bam, in my mind. And he just did it again, okay? He brought up how the chemistry's not been the same since Lindholm's been here. I'm not going to, blame it all on him, but the puzzle pieces, right? They haven't figured that out yet with Lindholm, and something's got to give because, he was brought here to be a top 6 guy, not a top 9 guy. He was brought here to kind of put this locomotive together within your top 6 to get Pettersson going, and absolutely nothing has happened. And now, you're going to go through the lines that, again, we're put in the blender at today's practice, and there's Lindholm again being a number 3 center. Crazy.
Yeah. Again, I think it's why you and I need to keep bringing it up because this is just not the spot for him. And every coach has their downfall, and everything's been great with Rick Tocchet so far, but coaches can often be stubborn. And I think this is one area where Tocchet is pretty stubborn. He wants that 1, 2, 3 down the middle, the big dogs. He wants Pettersson, Miller, and Lindholm, but it's just not working. It's not working.
Mm-hmm.
It's not working with Lindholm on that third line. And sure, his matchups are a bit of a wash. In terms of, possession when he's been on the ice, goals, 4 goals against. But you paid the big bucks to get this guy. You want to get the most out of him. And I know that the Josh injury has played into this as well. But you can have Blueger, Suter, and Amon, any one of the 3 guys as your third line center, preferably Blueger and Suter. But I think you just need to get Lindholm higher up in the lineup. Play with Pettersson.
Why hasn't he done it? Why hasn't he done it? Why has he been so reluctant to go back there? I guess the easy answer is they did beat 3 pretty good teams in a row, right? The Jets, the Kings, the Knights. You could argue that they did so because of how strong they were 5-on-5 as far as, winning matchups, being physical along the boards, winning battles, playing deep. All that being said, isn't it so obvious that this team is going to go where Pettersson takes it? And isn't it so important to make sure that you're kind of supplying this guy with the best talent? And I think you said something to me earlier on a phone call about Pettersson possibly being one of the few stars in the league. outside of McDavid, McDavid's just on another planet. He'll make dude, he would make me into a 15 goal scorer. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, isn't Pettersson one of the few stars in the league who isn't really playing with, I don't know, another guy?
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the best players in the NHL. McKinnon has Rantanen, Matthews has Marner. Even in New Jersey, like Jack Hughes often has Timo Meier, who struggled a bit, but most consider him a pretty bona fide star winger, 40 goal pace as of last season. So the big guns in the NHL for the most part have stars in their top line. And no offense to Nils Höglander, we love him in the city. He's a little piece of work, man, but he's just not that guy. He's not some bona fide NHL superstar, right? And not to say Lindholm is, but at least Lindholm's a guy who's scored 40 goals, who's been a runner-up for the Selke, who's had 80-plus points in a season. And I think Lindholm could be that guy for Pettersson. And again, Talkett's only given them a few games together, and they didn't light the world on fire, but they were good. They were solid. And I think that's the trio you got to work on in terms of letting them get some chemistry together here. And so I don't know if he's going to go to it, but I think that's something the Canucks need to do now. I said I was going to keep it positive in this segment. And
I know, sorry, my bad.
I do want to remind people of the fact that, again, 2 losses over the past 2 games, lots of time in between games. We've had time to really let those losses sink in, let them hurt a little bit. But it's easy to forget that the Canucks are playing their best hockey of the season for about 3 to 4 games before that. I'm including the Ducks game in there. So 4 games before they were rock solid, right? Again, that was 3 road games, 1 home game, but that was their best hockey of the season. Offense, defense, everything was clicking. Pettersson was doing his thing. He wasn't putting up superstar numbers, but he was on the score sheet. I think, again, the only thing bad about those games was the power play. But aside from that, the 5-on-5 play, the fact that it absolutely shut teams down in the middle of the ice, again, it was their best hockey of the season. So don't let a 2-little flip distract you. Still one of the best teams in the NHL here. And they got the pieces to make it happen, right? A lot of this does feel like a team who got a big lead, has locked up their spot early. There's still something to play for in terms of seeding and all that. But
they're looking ahead.
Like we talked about before, you're back at home, time off between games, distractions. The Canucks are comfortably in a playoff spot. There are excuses here, and that the team could be taking, or maybe just not
indica.
It should.
It's the indica. I think I know what you're saying. It's the indica. There you go, bro. You could say it, man. I think we're allowed to say it. It's legal.
Yeah.
It's the indica, man. Too much time at home. And here's the thing about the 420 magic. Okay, you go on the road a lot. Let's say you like the 420, blah blah blah. You go on the road, you quickly realize that it's not as good anywhere else. So you just wait to get back to BC to really, get it back into your system. And the indica is slowing down the Vancouver Canucks. It is what it is. Overall, I'm still optimistic. I'm still to June. I'm booking June off. I can't wait to get naked in June, celebrating the Stanley Cup. You know what I'm saying? That'll be the first time I go to the nude beach next to UBC, right? I want to try it out. I want to be a human being. Have you ever been to a nude beach, Trevor?
I've been to Rec. I haven't nuded up for it though, but I've been to Rec.
So you've been to Rec Beach, but you didn't participate in what Rec Beach is all about. Isn't that kind of creepy? Like you went there to just what? Like not get naked and look at people? Like what's going on? Don't you have to participate?
It depends who you're with, Like I'm trying to remember who I was with. Yeah, I was with another couple. I don't know. Just you got to be with the right people to do it, man. If I was by myself, sure, but I don't know. It depends on the crowd you're with, man.
You also got to be big. You also got to be big and strong. Mentally.
I'm not worried about that, man. I have no shame.
No, mentally, Anyways, man, the Canucks,
I can be small, scrawny, and tiny in the pants. That's
why you talking about me, man? You could just say my name, bro.
No, because you got the muscles, man. Flex Bowen, like the photo. The photo's still here, man. Okay.
Trevor, it's a hockey show. Read the lines, bro. Give me the lines. What's going on in this blender, bro? Well, what type of smoothie is Talkett making before we get to the third segment, man? Let me confuse myself here, because if Lindholm's not with Pettersson and you put the lines back in a blender, I can only imagine what the hell I'm about to hear.
All right, so at practice today, lines were first line Höglander, Pettersson, and Garland. Garland playing on the top line. Then we got Suter, Miller, and Besser. Then on the third line, we have Mikheyev, Lindholm, and Lafferty. Fourth line, Podkolzin, Bluger, and Almond getting back into the lineup. Defense, Hughes, Hronek, Cole, and Myers, and Zadorov and Susie, with Freeman and Jules as the extras.
Before we get to the third segment, can I go on a ramble here, please?
Yeah.
Can I do it? Why is Bluger not playing with Garland? They had mad chemistry. Maybe a few bad games, but maybe they'd have to adjust to life without Joshua, right? All that being said, those two, and we saw a lot of skill, not only in Garland's game, but Bluger's as well. He was a big part of that trio. One of the best third lines in hockey. The best line on our team. Dude, why not capitalize on the chemistry that they've kind of had and just move forward with doing other things in your top six? Like Lafferty with Elias Lindholm? Is that what you just told me? And Ilya Mikheyev? Oh, bro, come on, man. You're looking at the brand new fourth line. Bro, when Joshua comes back, dude, there's a small chance that the third line might be Garland, Bluger, Joshua, and your fourth line center, because they got to go deep down the middle. Maybe Lindholm, man. Holy dude.
That got dark there for a second. Maybe on the other side, Kyle, tell me the lines that you want to see.
Okay.
But before we get to that, we got to shout out another beloved sponsor. This time, that beloved sponsor is familiar to anyone who's not a first-time listener. It's FanDuel. All right, say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of that tourney. Whether you're betting on a big upset or a one seed, it's time to go dancing cha-cha-cha on America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines, and hey, you can even pick who's going to win it all. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and bet on college hoops. And hey, you can also bet on NHL there too, okay? You bet on it all until they cut down the nets.
Damn. FanDuel, man. You can bet on... Yeah, I like that. Until they cut down the nets. That's smart, man.
Are you going to cut down the nets or am I going to cut down the nets?
Dude. Basketball, you and I, one-on-one. Should we do that in the summer?
Let's do it, man.
Winner gets to host the show full time. People, we back talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Just having a little therapy session right on air, being live and all that. Just trying to figure this out because I don't know if I should be this pissed off, this emotional, based on the fact that Trevor is right. It wasn't that long ago before the Canucks were playing that playoff brand of hockey that we got to see for this team to be effective. That being said, I do want to make this note. Even when we were winning those games, and I'm not trying to single this guy out. It just happens to be on the top of my mind because my expectations are through the roof, and I know this guy has it in him. In those 4 games, yeah, Pettersson has 2 goals and 4 wins. One of them being really nice against the Kings, X factor-ish. But I will say the appetite and the need from this market to see Pettersson be more dominant is warranted. And you can make the argument that even in those 4 wins, he really hasn't stepped it up. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting that marquee game after game after game performance from him. Now, the underlying data will say that he's actually been not that bad. Bro, it's all about the eye test. All in all, the truth is the Vancouver Canucks are not going to go to where they're supposed to go via, expectations via, you traded a first and a third for Lindholm. You got to get to the cup. They're not going to get deep into the playoffs if Pettersson is not elite, really elite. And if that happens and he gets back to being dominant shift after shift, game after game, and you pair that up with JT Miller, who's been a driving force the whole season, the only guy that's not taken 1 game off, you want to talk about being positive? That's it right there. Straight up. A lot of teams can't go 1-2 down the middle like that. If Pettersson gets back to being that guy, that dog. Can you name me more than 10 games this season that Pettersson's been one of the best players in hockey, just based on shift-by-shift dominance? Don't go to your underlying data. I'm talking about the eye test, okay, Trevor?
Yeah, I think Pettersson was at his best early in the season. A couple of games in December, but talking about being the best player, one of the best players on the planet, it was early October and it was January, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the times that Pettersson looked like he was, again, one of the best players in the NHL. But that's less than half the season. So, again, the bar is incredibly high for this guy. And, the fact that Pettersson's been kind of mediocre, it's reflected on GOATs of the week, baby, okay? I'll rip through a quick GOATs of the week because, again, was only 2 games, not the strongest week for the Vancouver Canucks. But, hey, got to do the bleep for the fans, okay? GOATs of the week. Okay, so again, Elias Pettersson, not one of the GOATs of the week. Neither is Quinn Hughes, who it was not a great week for him, to be honest, man. Not a great week for Quinn Hughes either. But you know who's number 1 again, and who is basically going to run away with the Canucks' yearly power rankings, right? Or the GOAT of the year, I should say, is JT Miller. JT Miller is the best Canuck last week as well. Obviously, 2 quick points in the Colorado game. I don't know if anyone was at their best against Washington, but Miller's always out there trying, working hard, and he was the guy who at least put up some points this week for your Vancouver Canucks. At 2 and 3, I have his line. Sorry, do you want to say something?
No, it's great. Like, he's on a mission, man. Like, JT Miller's trying to will this team to putting in that game in and game out effort, and not just waiting for games to quote unquote matter. Like, he's really trying to do that, and it's inspiring, man. Because he's 31 years old. I'm about to turn 31, right? Is he 30 or 31? Anyways, I like to see it. I like to see a 30-year-old just lead a pack of young men, because in this generation, Trevor, people don't respect their elders.
Oh, you're 100% right about that. And actually, I'm looking up quick because I think Miller's birthday is right around mid-March. So, actually, a happy birthday to Miller. It was March 14th, so Miller is officially 31 years old now. Happy belated birthday to JT Miller, aka arguably the best Canuck so far this season. I'd say it's between Miller and Hughes right now, but Miller of late definitely has been the best Canuck. At 2 and 3 on GOATs of the week, I have Mikheyev in second and Besser in third. Mikheyev finally getting off the schneid, finally scoring a goal. God, man, the bar was low for this guy, but he at least has looked better over the last few games. And what's his reward? Getting to spark Elias Lindholm. Okay, congratulations, Ilya Mikheyev. Again, number 3, Brock Besser. Number 4 is Zadorov. Again, slim pickings this week, but Zadorov with the Gordie Howe hat-trick, goal and assist in a fight against Colorado. At least, again, the whole give a bleep. He gave a bleep last week, okay? And at number 5, I had Casey Smith, who I thought played well, but was kind of hung out to dry, to be honest. Against the Avalanche, who they got some opportunities late to tie the game, some blown coverages in front, both in the Avs game and the Caps game. But to Smith, I think, despite not picking up wins last week, is just doing everything he can right now to win games for the Canucks.
Yeah, he hasn't been the problem. He hasn't been the problem at all. Going back to Quinn Hughes, right? The guy who's not here, be a GOATs of the week. Bro, he had a comment after Saturday's game that confused me, man. It really confused me, bro. He talked about how he gave up that open look late in the game to tie up the game. Like, it was blatantly open, right? Take the shot. Take the shot. Take the shot. And what does he do? He forces a pass to Pettersson's feet. And he talked about how, even though he had the clear lane to the Capitals goaltender, what's his name exactly? Exactly. He's like, I didn't think I could beat him cleanly. Bro, what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, we talk about JT Miller being the engine. In all honesty, based on the fact that when Quinn Hughes is going and he's a dog and he's confident, he's one of the best players in hockey, like top 3, top 5, a real X factor. If the Canucks want to get to June, the truth is Quinn Hughes has to be that guy. Based on a comment like that, he's not feeling himself right now. Yeah. Anyways, join the Discord. Enter, the contest. Win some tickets. We're giving them away on Friday. Trevor, you had something to say about Quinn Hughes. Let me just sign out. My name's Kyle Bound. Trevor Beggs. Locked on Canucks. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Blah blah blah. We love you. Go Canucks. Go. We're still winning the Stanley Cup. Okay. Sorry for the negativity, bro. This is therapy for me. Okay. Anyways, Beggsy, do you want to touch on that Quinn Hughes point?
Yeah, I was just trying to remember his comment from the game on Saturday, but my feeling from it was this guy's kind of making excuses a little bit. Again, I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but that was just my feeling from listening to his quotes post game on Saturday. But again, it's all good. Your Vancouver Canucks, still one of the best teams in the league. Nothing's going to be perfect. They're working out some kinks right now. They don't have their starting goaltender, but they do need to play better in front of him, and they need to get better back to being the aggressive Vancouver Canucks that we know and love. And we'll see if we got some more positive stuff to draw on tomorrow. I do want to touch maybe a bit more on Pettersson and Hughes, maybe both positive and negative on tomorrow's episode. Pettersson, I really want to look at his line mates. And again, other star players. How much do they play with stars versus just ordinary guys? So maybe do a bit of a deep dive on Pettersson tomorrow. Quinn Hughes, maybe check in on his point race. Again, he set the franchise record for points among Canuck defensemen, but how many points will he actually get this season? We'll revisit our preseason predictions there and a whole lot more here on Locked On Canucks. But for now, shout out to all of you, whether you're an everydayer, occasional listener, first-time listener, new subscriber, or it's your first time, or you join us here live on the YouTube show. We love
Trevor. I got to say something. The referees.
Yep, that's true. And on that note, let's get out of here. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bowen, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Peace.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team